In this video, I want to share with you what you can achieve by trying to set some reading goals and how you can transform your life one book at a time. I want to let you in on a little secret. I'm going to be 50 years old soon. I've been on this earth nearly half a century. It's completely unfathomable to me. And I was thinking there's so much more that I need to learn. There's so much more that I can do that I'm really trying to accelerate the things that I can accomplish over the time I have left, whether it's 50 hours, 50 days, or 50 weeks, or 50 years. And so one of the goals of my 50 by 50 challenge is 50 things I want to do and 50 books I want to read is read. And I've never really been an avid reader. I've always read, but I've never read a lot. But imagine waking up on your 50th birthday with the wisdom of 50 great books under your belt. I'm going to talk a little bit about my 50 book goal and how I plan to accomplish this goal and what types of books I am reading. So why am I doing this? I feel like I have so much to learn and that I'm running out of time. I just think about how fast these first 50 years have gone and how quickly the next 50 could go. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned of getting older is that time accelerates. The older you are, the faster time seems to fly by. This year, I've really felt like time is really accelerating. And knowing that I'm just 1 year away from being 50, I feel like I'm running out of time. And I really want to take the opportunity to take some of the lessons that I've learned and incorporate some of the lessons that others have learned, the authors in all of these books, and see what I can do to make the next 50 years amazing. And one of my favorite authors, Ryan Holiday, and I have a number of his books here. He's introduced me to Stoicism, and I'm a big reader, and I'm a big fan. He says that reading is like having a conversation with the author. And all of the lessons in these books are just timeless. You have the opportunity to learn from people who have made mistakes, who have overcome obstacles, and can be an inspiration for all that you wish to become. The answers to life are by learning from others, by connecting with people. And while I may not have the opportunity to connect with any of these authors, through reading their books, I can learn from them. The only way that I can ask better questions to change my life is to change the questions I'm asking. And this is by gathering more information and by becoming a little bit smarter, having a little bit more information. I can set myself up to ask better questions so I can change my daily actions that I do every day and improve my life. I also have been very conscious of my health. I was surprised that there's a lot of health benefits to reading. It's not only cognitively important, it also has physical benefits. It can reduce stress, helps with sleep, can lower blood pressure. There's a link between reading and longevity, and it supports cognitive health. And I can tell you by reading every night before I go to bed, my sleep scores have increased substantially. I would typically be in the 80s-ish for sleep quality. Now I'm in the 90s, easy. And the biggest change was instead of watching Netflix or whatever as I was falling asleep, I just read a book, and when I'm tired, I go to bed. Big change there. And so what are the types of books that I'm going to read? So typically, I've always read nonfiction or personal development books. And this includes all the areas of the deep shift format: self, health, income, and time. And so for self, one of the books I'm planning on reading is The Right Thing Right Now, Ryan Holiday's newest edition. Health, Fit for Life, which is a book from the 80s. Jesse Itzler has always spoke very highly of this book. Income, Tony Robbins. Money, Master of the Game, Tony Robbins. As far as time, one of my favorite books of all time is The 5 a.m. Club. Never would have thought. I've always been an early riser, and conceptually, I knew what this would be about. By far, one of my most favorite books I've ever read in my entire life. As I sit here and look at the thousands of pages here to read, it can feel a little overwhelming, but as you read, you get more proficient, you read faster, and it becomes a little bit easier to do. As I've been reading more and more, reading has not seemed like a chore to me. It's something I enjoy doing. Picking up a book for a few minutes, reading a few pages. It's reading 10 or 15 pages as part of a 75 hard challenge. Like at one time I was like, oh, that's a lot. But now, after doing this a little while, just reading 50 pages in a sitting for an hour is completely doable. I also took a few speed reading classes that have also helped me not only read faster, but retain. And the most important thing is not to just get through the books, but get through the books with information. Part of my strategy is just to read every day. And some days I read more than others. Some days I read less than others. And I'm also substituting the time that I would be watching Netflix with reading time. So anytime that I have just a few minutes idle, I can pick up a book and read. And so this is really developing a habit to help me read every day. I found that the easiest thing to do to help me read more is to choose topics that I'm interested in. All of these books come from recommendations, from podcasts I watch, or they're just books that I've references within the books that I've read that I've liked. So choosing topics that I'm interested in has really captivated me in selecting these books. And having a selection of 50 books here, I don't have a particular order that I need to go in. I just pick one that speaks to me in that moment. And that has made it a lot easier. And if I start reading it and it's just not something that I'm interested in, I'll put it down and pick something else. I'm also not feeling the need to finish every book that I start. If it's not resonating with me, I will stop, pick up another one, and try it later. And still, if it's not resonating with me, I'll just find something else to read. So one of the most important parts of taking all this time to read is remembering what I read. And some of the best tips that I can share for remembering what I read is to think about what I'm reading as I'm reading it. How can I apply this to everyday life? Some of the things that I think about when I'm reading is, what are the things that I already know? What are the things that this book is teaching me? How can I learn from it? What are things that I don't know? And by highlighting or writing down passages of things that I don't necessarily agree with or didn't know is much easier than highlighting the things that are confirming what I already know, because I already know it. So I'm looking at those contrarian viewpoints or those things that are new to me, and that has helped me with my reading. When something really speaks to me, I'll take short notes. I keep an index card as a bookmark, and I'll write down the page and some key details about what I'd like to remember so I can go back and look at it later. I plan on making a review from each book that I read, and that will further reinforce remembering the things that I've read and sharing some of the information about the book with all of you. I've also found that telling people about what I learned by having one takeaway from each book, by distilling down the very essence of any one of these books into just one thing and telling someone about it, has really gone a long way to remembering what I've read. As you can see, there's a lot of work to do. It's a pretty ambitious goal to read 50 books in a year for me, when I probably only read 50 in the whole last decade of my life. But I hope this video inspires you to take on your own reading challenge, or just pick up a book that could change your perspective. And remember, every book is an opportunity to learn, grow, see the world, and even yourself in a new way. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content, especially to hear some of the book reviews and sharing some of the lessons I've learned reading each of these books. I'd love to hear about your own reading goals or any books that have had a big impact on your life. Perhaps I'll even add them to the list, so drop a comment below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep reading, keep growing, and keep making your life the best it can be.